Welcome everyone to Never Alone Live. It is great to have you guys here today. We are, as usual, Krista, Sober Barbie is here. I'm Johnny, and we have a special guest today. His name is Recovery Jon. Recovery Jon, you are a big social media influencer in the recovery space. You're a published author and all that stuff. But let's get into it. Let's learn about you. You're from the Northeast. Tell us a little bit about your story, dude.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. I see you guys on there doing great work, so I was excited to come chat with you. Basics about me: I grew up, in the Connecticut, New York area. 35 now. I got sober March 3rd, 2019. So I've been sober for 6 years. I was just a big, athlete. My goal was be a New York Yankee. I was raised in the Catholic Church, just kind of like your perfect kid, perfect upbringing up until like 12. Hated alcohol, hated substances. Told myself I would never do them. And even hated addicts, like just because I was so ignorant. Like my dad would smoke cigarettes, and I was like, "How could you do that? So stupid." Yeah, and it's like it's crazy how God and life will humble you. So I went through just some traumatic stuff when I was like 12, 13. Like I started watching my friend's dad die while we played paintball. He had a massive heart attack in front of us. Some other traumatic situations where I had some like close calls. Really quickly, like my idea on God and life changed. I became resentful. Never prayed again until I got sober. Uh, you know, the chain of addiction. I started with alcohol, some bud, found my way into opiates when I hurt my leg. But I mean, either way, I was on that path to find something that numbed me. 10 years of addiction and 7 arrests, 7 detox and rehabs later. Um, Finally, just beat myself into oblivion to where I started to finally take some help and get some help and be open minded. And by the grace of God, I went to the 12 steps. I started praying at that time. Found a good detox and rehab and got with a good network of guys. And today, like I said, I've been sober 6 years. And I never planned to be here talking to you guys, that's for sure. I started this. This is all God. I only started ever posting because I'm more a private person. You can see I don't put even a lot of my personal life on there. Um, During COVID, I was a year sober. I finished 12 steps. And in 1 week, 3 of my friends died in a week. And short story, I called my sponsor. I was like, bro, I'm going to relapse. This sucks. It's too soon. I can't deal with this. I mean, we're in COVID quarantine. Like everything was just questionable about life. I was only 365 days sober. And he's like, help people, man. You're at step 12. Figure it out. Pray on it. So I like cried, prayed on my knees, went for a run like I did every day for like 5 miles, with my shirt off in the heat, and it just like hit me. Social media. You have these people that follow locally. Like I had 100 followers on Facebook and Instagram locally. But I was like, maybe if I post my story and like a before and after pic and some of my words, it'll help someone. So I took a cracked out picture of me and a picture of me flexing sober, strong, with my shirt off, and I just like, yo, I'm an alcoholic addict. I don't want to hear about people dying anymore. DM me if you want help. And I just hope that maybe like one person in my town would live from that. And I mean, instantly it took off. And then I got on the TikTok, and now I reach like 90 million a year. Host of the Addicts Truth Podcast. I have a #1 sobriety book. Just things that I never expected. So here we are today.
That's amazing, dude. And it's funny because if I posted a picture with my shirt off, I'd lose followers. So that you
He's got really good before pictures, though, John.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I need some better before ones.
So you are, and so I am a 12 stepper. Krista's a 12 stepper. And you are as well, I'm assuming.
Yes.
What getting sober during COVID? That it was hard. I have mad respect. So I've been sober for a long time. And I during COVID, I thought all the time, man, this is harder for those guys because it was just different. I had
Mm.
tons of meetings to go to all the time. And all of a sudden with lockdown, it was like, nope, no mas. So you had a year when everything shut down.
Yeah, literally like 2 days after I got my coin for a year, everything shut down. So I was lucky that like I kind of already had that base. Like the people that got sober during COVID, I don't know how they did it. But thankfully, I had my sponsor, Sober Network meeting. We were holding meetings in parking lots. So, um, yeah, I ran a lot of meetings on Zoom for 12 steps. So it kept me connected at least, you know.
I mean, at least we had something. It's funny because
Yeah.
it's kind of, with the social media, with TikTok Live, with all this other stuff. It's kind of coming back a little bit, And I think when people had to go to Zoom, they hated it, right? Oh my
Yeah.
God, I can't go to my meeting. I hate this. Rah, rah, rah. And now it's like, because it's a choice, it's kind of a different story, and it's like a supplement to their recovery. They go to their meetings. I go to my meetings still, and I supplement it with live streams and podcasts and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
So let's go back a little bit. I want to talk about your final days. What was the last straw?
Just like hell on earth. I mean, before the last straw, I wanted it. I just was too afraid to ask for help. So that's why I do what I do today, because I understand that people are afraid to ask for help. They don't know where to start. My parents had no idea how to deal with an addict. Um, I'd never been sober, so I didn't know how to get sober long term. And I was withdrawing every day. I was a full blown opiate addict. So I wake up dope sick every day because I would use so much. If I slept a couple hours, I'd start detoxing. Um, on the weekends, drinking new blow, just to oblivion on top of that. And I wanted it, but I knew something would have to happen for me to be pushed to ask for help. My parents, I'd been in and out of rehab, in and out of sometimes 12 steps, but you just feel stupid going back and being like, "Ah, I messed up again." But it's hindsight, that's the insanity, is they knew I was walking around. I'm almost 6'2". I was like 130 pounds, gray, cracked out. Like there's no question, but still I was like, I don't want to say that I'm struggling. And I got arrested. I got pulled over. I had warrants in Connecticut and New York. It was an undercover drug agency that was looking for me. And I just remember sitting in I was messed up too. They didn't even care to give me a DUI because they were like, "You're facing so much, like we don't even need to give you a DUI." And I remember just sitting. I had just like one moment. It was like a realization. I was sitting in a holding cell at like 4 a.m. And I just kind of looked around. I'll never forget saying to myself at 28 years old, like, this is not Yankee Stadium. Like, this is not what I planned. Like, and it just humbled me to the fact of like, bro, and those little sayings I heard going to meetings just all came out. You know what I mean? That like, you got to try something new, be open-minded, having the willingness. And right there, I was like, yo, whatever people say, I'm just going to do after this. And I remember my mom right away was like, we don't know how, but we're gonna get you help and figure it out. And thankfully, we had kind of like a sober advocate, a family friend, knew the process, so right away got me, a detox rehab, got right back to 12 steps, my sponsor steps. But yeah, that moment was not fun. I was facing like a minimum of 4 to 10 years. There was just no question. I couldn't hide anymore that it was a problem and I couldn't use safely.
Dude, this is kind of amazing because normally we've done quite a few of these interviews, and Krista and I both had our gift of desperation in a jail cell, and here we are, the three of us, three peas in a pod. The gift of desperation. It finally hits when it finally hits, and look at all three of us are in the same boat. Krista, tell us about yours.
Yeah.
I love your story. It's so familiar, and I have like the same childhood almost, like the same feelings against all this, and I never saw myself. But the desperation, it comes when it meets the willingness. You got to be willing. And what I hear in your story is that you finally took the suggestions offered. Like nobody can force you to change your life. But I didn't know anyone sober when I got sober. I thought AA was a cult. Like I didn't want any part of it, but I didn't know anybody that had been through it. And when I finally, because I was facing 20 years, and I bonded out and went straight to rehab. And as soon as I like started learning these steps and just hearing about it and the whole process, I'm like, why is everyone on this earth not doing it? And the fact that you stayed sober during your like early recovery during COVID that's that you're a powerhouse. Like that's something else. Cause my husband relapsed during COVID, and that's when I started my social media to reach out to the people who love someone who's struggling. Cause I've been there myself, but like that's a whole nother level. And that was hard. That was really hard. And I really commend you for sticking through, going to doing meetings in parking lots. Like you could have had every opportunity to say, no, screw that. But you kept pushing forward. That's awesome.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely there's so is a program of connection and
Yeah.
how blessed I was. You know what I mean? Even us being on here today, it's cool for other people to see that, like, none of us do this alone.
You are an integral part in helping a lot of people. I see this, going on and seeing your social media, and people ask you questions, and it's everybody has their own story, right? And everybody has their gifts that they've been given in order to help people. What is the most important gift that you've been given to help people?
Like what the gift that helps people the most that I've been given?
Yes.
Sadly, I think struggle. My sobriety has not been what you would call easy. I mean, like my first year was COVID. My going to my second year was just at one time was three friends in a week that passed away. My third year, my brother like killed himself while drinking at 4 o'clock in the morning. Then after that, my parents moved away to South Carolina. So every year has kind of been like, really, yeah, they're down like Merle's Inlet. But yeah, I mean, every year has been that, and I feel like that's what started all this was God pushing me to be so open about my story. It was my biggest secret. I never thought I would tell 90 million people a year that I'm an addict and alcoholic. So I feel like God forced me in a good way to do it. And I feel like that's what makes me so genuine about it. That yeah, I mean, I'm just very honest with people. Like, I don't really care if you get help or not. You have to want it. I can just deliver the hope and experience, and I hope you do it. But I get it that I'm just very real with what it takes to get help.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Especially, I mean, we get to meet so many newcomers, especially on social media, and it's hard. It's hard getting sober. It's hard staying sober. They see people that, have their shit together, and it's like, oh, I'm supposed to have this right away. No, it's not the way it works. It is difficult, and we're going to struggle, and it's going to, it's going to take everything we have to muster through and get that next 24 hours some days. So being that example, that's a great one. That was a great answer to kind of a random question. So now, next question. Let's talk. I want to jump into some steps 2 and 3 real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about your relationship with your higher power.
I mean, it's everything. It's frustrating because it's so simple, like sobriety, but I'm a human, so I get away from it. I remember, so I have a funny story. I probably shouldn't share this, but I really don't care. I mean, it's not bad, but my sponsor would be like, you shouldn't look at it that way. But for instance, so I started my business and everything I do, and I was living with someone. We broke up, so like now I doubled my bills. I have the blessings of sobriety, my dream car, a nice place, or whatever. So I invest like all my money back into myself and my company, and it's been going great. But there's times where like things are tight, and then I had just a lot go on one month. And I don't know, because the blessings get so big, you almost forget about God, and it's finding that balance of like find God first. And I said a prayer. I was really stressed about a lot, and all I'm doing is the right thing in my life. Thankfully today due to sobriety, and I said a prayer, and I was like, God, I never pray for like money, and I don't want greed. I don't want like $1 more than I need, but like there's some things I gotta take care of right now. So even if it's work, like whatever it is, like just put something in front of me I could handle. And I work on the side. I do the Yankees equipment and the Jets and Giants. So another blessing of sobriety. I'll be in the locker rooms. Like opportunities I never thought. So it's weird that I ended up now I help people. That's why I wanted to be a Yankee, is to make a lot of money to help people. And I like baseball, and now I still get to go in the locker room and the clubhouse and the dugout. So it's cool. But I was working with my friend, and he was putting all these bets in, and I watched my friend lose gambling when I was in addiction, so I've never been turned on by it. But once in a while, I put like, $2 parlays and stuff in. So I put one in, and I'm like, I'm very smart with my money today. So I was like, oh, I'll put this $2 thing in. Long story short, the craziest stuff happens, and I win like 2,500. And it was like exactly like, it wasn't even for fun. It all went to like things I had to pay for. Um, so there's funny stuff like that. I don't believe in like praying for God or gambling, but that's not what I thought would have happened. But I mean anything. Like I'll be like, show me if this person should be in my life, and right away, I get a sign that they should or shouldn't be. I pray to put the right business people in front of me and opportunities, and that happens. It takes the weight off of me that I can't do it alone. And that really, I don't have any control on anything. It's just, if I'm able to follow the signs and stay connected to God, that it's just great. Yeah, it's actually almost scary how real it is for me today, because anything I pray for, it might take a day or two, it might not be what I want, but it'll exactly happen to how I need to see it.
Did you have a relationship with God before you got into recovery?
So I did from birth or whatever to a kid to like 12, and then absolutely not. From the things I've seen in addiction and even in sobriety, when I watched my friend's dad die as a kid, from that day I blame God. I said, how could there be a God if all this bad happened? And it felt like it through high school. I just had challenge after life challenge after scary experience. So yes, back then, but when I walked in the rooms, I mean, 4 years of trying to get sober, relapsing constantly. Everyone said, pray, pray, pray. I didn't. After that last arrest, I prayed, and I haven't thought about a drink since the day I got sober.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. So we talk about the gift of desperation a lot, and the willingness and the ability to open our hearts to the potential of God, and how it can then help us. And the best thing is that we get to build our own higher power, and let it operate through us, right? So I love that. What's life like now compared to your first year?
It's wild. I feel like this year, literally everything's come together. Like each year was a big blessing. Like the first year was just stay sober. The second year was like fix stuff in relationships and fitness and health. And the third year, and each year now it's like, business, relationships, my confidence, how I structure my day to day. Yeah, my life's a joke. I mean, like I don't complain, or I try not to, because it's like, that's like I said, like I handshake with Aaron Judge. Like I used to sit in a jail cell and hang out with gangbangers. Like I don't deserve the life I have today. Or someone walks up to me and, can you sign your book? I want your autograph. Like that's literally, I don't know. Like it instantly brings me to tears out of gratitude, because like all my friends aren't here. Only a couple of them are. Like I shouldn't be here. So yeah, it's honestly, that's why I literally, I don't mean to laugh at people, but when I go TikTok live and people are like, well, how's your life now? Is sobriety better? And I'm like, what do you mean? I was living in hell. Like my life is like beyond my wildest dreams. Just even the fact that I don't have to use or wake up dope sick today is a miracle.
It's an absolute miracle. We're miracles, dude. We are walking, talking miracles. And I think the biggest message that we can give a newcomer is it's going to get better. First year, it sucks. It's kind of like it's kind of like running. I'm an avid runner. I've run the Chicago Marathon a few times, and the first mile always sucks. Doesn't matter if I've been running all year or just starting out again. First mile always sucks. Second mile, your body starts to get used to it, and because you're doing it, you're warming up, and by the third mile, you're cooking, you're ready to go, and the next mile and the next mile. We're all running marathons here. It's not easy, day one. Some people, maybe it is, wasn't for me. And but we just keep going, and it just gets better. It just happens. That's what my book tells me. All right. So look at Krista's over there talking to the kids. You got, are you married, got kids, stuff like that?
No, single, no kids. So
Uh-oh,
yeah.
comments. Watch out.
Yeah, the dating world is crazy. That's been interesting in sobriety, but yeah.
Oh man. Let me jump over to the comments. We got a bunch of our friends who are over here. Tiffany is in the comments. Tiffany has been with us every single Never Alone live that we've done. We started doing this. What would we start doing this, Krista, in May or June or something like that? Tiffany's always here. Love Tiffany.
I think it was the summer.
Amber's here with us, and Katie's here with us, and now they're all probably going to go follow you, and they're going to leave us. That's the way it works. There's
No.
They will follow you, but they're good people, and we got to stick together. It's all about connection, and we only keep good people in our corner, and we don't do drama. We've seen that side over there in that other app, so we've stayed very clear of that.
That's good.
So
that happens everywhere.
Here's a question. Here's a good question. And I'm gonna ask you first, John, and then I'm gonna ask Krista the same question. What is the most important part of your support system?
It's a good question. I'd say God, number one. You know, someone may not be able to answer the phone. Someone may not have the answer for me, but that always seems to work out. So I would say definitely God, higher power, and I could care less. I hate like the rebuttal that even I had in early sobriety. Well, religion or God, like it don't matter. Like just some kind of faith in something, you know.
God is the top, and then we talk about sponsorship, and I think your sponsor is a very important person. He or she is a person that's been through the steps that can help you through the steps. It's amazing, but even bigger is your network and having that big network. And we're always developing our network, and just having that brief 2-second conversation about, the social media and our friends and yada yada. That's what brought this to reality for me. Watching people on social media get days has been so important, and it's because it's not about me anymore. My support system is watching other people get it. It's so beautiful. So it's amazing, right? I thought it was kind of a good question.
That's a good question. I like that.
Krista, what's the most important thing of your sober circle, of your support system?
Reminding me that I'm not crazy. No, the compassion part of it, just what the normal people don't have. They don't have it. I mean, the tools I've got, I'm grateful for all of it, because it led me to where I am and has given me the tools, and I can love someone and meet them where they're at instead of judging them. Or I get that same back to me. And I've gone through some of the hardest times in my life in sobriety. So having these people in my corner, and like someone that has been through it before me, like my sponsor, it's very comforting and peaceful, and just reassuring, knowing that I have somebody that's going to love me for my worst mistake ever. I don't have to hide anymore,
How have your personal relationships changed with sobriety? Your parents, they were big in your life. They're probably still big in your life. They put you into rehab a bunch of times, and how's your relationship with them now? How long did it take for that that trust to come back?
I mean, I didn't see it, but it started to change quickly, but not as quick as I wanted as an addict. But I mean, even like when I took it really serious, like they started to see me hit meetings a lot, be in the gym, like really they could see the change. They were there with like gift cards and chocolates on like my 60-day, my 6 month, like on my anniversaries. They started to support me. Did they trust me? Probably not. But within that first year, especially I think when I came home, like I started a thing. I give my mom, really both my parents, but I give my mom all my coins, um, which now obviously are just years, and she'll always give me like the last year. But that became like handing them 1 year. I think they were like, all right, this shit's serious. Like he's not joking around. And today, man, it's crazy. I was just talking to someone I talk to now. my uncle just died last week. Actually, like 2 weeks ago. But we had the services this weekend. From like rapid cancer out of nowhere at a young age, and my whole family looks to me for guidance. When I was just the tornado of my family. So it doesn't speak to me. That just speaks to like sobriety. I mean, what like it actually gave me almost a panic attack one day because I was talking to my therapist and I was like, my life has changed so rapidly that like I have a massive family and they all look to me like, John, we need you here for your positivity and your faith and your guidance. When like I used to show up to Christmas like nodding out on dope and like put my head in ice cream. So that just speaks to like how it can change your relationships 180.
It's crazy, you know, going from an alcoholic addict to, and nobody wanted my opinion, you know, and now we get phone calls saying, hey, what would you do here? Because they recognize, they see it in us that we're doing something different and that we have a different solution today. And you know, have any of your family members jumped in to the recovery world? I've got a bunch. You know, this is a genetic disease.
Surprisingly, no. But they've all taken pieces from me, you know. Whether they've, you know, cut drinking on their own, taken fitness, taken faith, they all take what they need. Um, yeah, but I mean, my brother was close. Actually, the morning he took his own life, he was coming to his first meeting. He was supposed to meet me there. But my other cousin did stop drinking on her own. So yeah, it's cool that like that's why I wrote the book and do what I do on social media because people find something you need out of your story, you know, whether it's your faith or your endurance, something. So it's cool to watch.
Okay, hang on. I had one more question over here. Routine. Tell me about your routine. I think routine is probably the most important thing that we learn in recovery. It centers us, it gets us moving. And you being a health nut and all that other stuff, you probably got a pretty strict regimen that you stick with. Tell me about your daily routine.
So it's actually what my this all became before it was Recovery Jon. It was called Get Lifted. It was this little phrase me and my parents came up with, and it was the main thing I learned, like you said, in sobriety was routine. So I called my sponsor one day, like 6 months sober. I was like, yo, this sober stuff sucks. Like I'm bored, like I'm miserable, I'm angry. And he was like, what'd you do today? I was like, dude, I woke up, I had a couple Pop-Tarts, I Snapchat some girls, like played a little Call of Duty, and he started laughing at me. And I was like, what is funny about this, bro? And he was like, you expect to be happy and like peaceful and joyous? Like he's like, so explain this thing that he calls a spiritual bank account. So he's like, you know, we manage our money, we need to manage our spirituality or happiness, whatever you want to call it. And he's like, everything you do is either going to put negative or positive into that. So like if you pray, that's $10. You work out, that's $50. Therapy is $100 a meeting, so on and so forth. So I tried it and I made this list for myself, and every day for the first year of my sobriety after that, I would do the same thing every day. I would pray, have coffee while I watched motivational videos on YouTube. I would lift in my parents' basement, box, run 5 miles, breakfast, smoothie, so on and so forth. And taught myself like day trading stock options, like something for my mental. I'd read self-help books and I'd call it Get Lifted spiritually, mentally, physically. And that's really what happened, what did everything for me, even outside of AA. That made me unstoppable. I felt unstoppable. I was unstoppable. Today, that's how I've gotten through everything. So you could tell if I get off my routine for like a week, I get pretty nutty. So yeah, that's definitely the baseline is routine and taking care of yourself.
I love that.
Krista, what's your routine like?
I love that. Well, I am a mom of 2 young kids, so I'm still figuring that out. But before the kids, I really love that spiritual bank account, like that, and it's putting it in your mind too, like to really think about and focus on it. And I'm still in survival mode, I think, right now. But I make sure I start my day with my daily devotions, and we host a live on TikTok every morning. So we have our like group of people. We get 1,000 to 1,500 people that come through, and I go to my recovery meetings. I'm helping some women go through the 12 steps right now. So I have a schedule, and it's all recovery and faith-based schedule because I have all that stuff like inserted in there. So I'm just continuing to lead by example and just making sure I'm continuing to do the next right thing, and not, if I don't get something done that I wanted to, I'm not hard on myself. I give myself grace. And I think that's really important too, to just, God's got a plan and I have faith in it. So
No, I'm gonna pause kind of, and we've got a big comment in here, and John, maybe you can help. I think this is where we are needed the most. Someone in the comments says, "I have to be honest. Opiates are on my mind. Husband gets them from work, and found myself looking for them. I have 3 years now, and I don't want to ruin that." So we're talking about triggers. We're talking about all sorts of different things here. What kind of advice, what suggestions do you have for this person, John?
Just to get connected. I mean, whenever I'm like that, they're probably not going to meetings or meeting with their sponsor. I showed up. I'm very transparent. I showed up at my sponsors 2 weeks ago. A disaster. Was drinking or using really on my mind? No, but it's worse when it's before that. If I'm mentally just whacked, that's the next thing, because I'm gonna want to quiet the mind. So there's probably things going on in their life that they want to numb from, and that's where, for me, I need to be in front of like a sponsor or maybe a recovery coach, whatever works for people, a therapist, um, to look at like, why am I wanting to turn to numb, because that's the biggest thing. So usually if I hit a meeting, I could be messed up in the head for a week. My schedule, my routine's messed up. I got problems. I'll go to a meeting and I walk out and I'm like, all right, I'm good. Like, it's
yeah,
just, yeah, keeping it really simple, you know?
The alcohol and drugs are but the symptom. It's our thinking that's going that there's something wrong. And if you have 3 years clean, first off, thank you so much for being here with us, and thank you for sharing this issue with us. I'm sorry you're in this state right now, but what we have is a daily reprieve contingent on our spiritual maintenance, and we have to continue that spiritual maintenance. And sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's easier than others. Right now, with having it around is difficult. So like John said, get connected, get you're already talking about here and you're being vulnerable. If you're in a program, call your sponsor, go to a meeting. If you're not, maybe jump on a Zoom meeting or jump into a TikTok or something like that. You do not have to be alone. Never alone, never again. And battling this by yourself, self loses. I win, or we win. I lose. So thank you so much for bringing this topic here to us today. I hope that we were able to help. Krista, do you have anything on this?
I think just posting that comment right there is literally the first little step. You are reaching out and you are trying to not let that happen. And John's right. Connect with somebody. Find a meeting. Because 9 out of 10 times, I really kind of don't feel like going to a meeting at the time. But after I go, I'm like, I'm on fire. Like, I feel good. And I'm so grateful I went. And I maybe heard something that I needed to hear, or something I said actually helped somebody. And we have a great little network on TikTok. And sorry, Bubba just came in being very loud.
Oh, Bubba.
I'm on a podcast, my little podcast right now. But just reaching out and connecting that's the opposite of addiction. So connection.
Just don't call my sponsor, because he'll tell me, yeah, go ahead, do it. You be the example of how miserable it is if you need more research. And
it does sound like a good sponsor though.
Yeah. Sometimes we need that because it's like the untouchable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we want what we can't do. Like, I have liquor for a girl I was seeing and my friends in my refrigerator. I mean, if I was spiritually unwell, I'd get rid of it. But knowing I can is kind of freeing, and I don't want that misery again, you know? But when I used to tell myself I can't forever, then it's like, ooh, I want to, you know? But everyone's different. Don't follow what I do.
So we have another question in the comments. Our friend Amber says, what would you tell yourself at 37 days?
Oh, man. I would tell myself, just hold on tight. You know, that's there's so much to learn. Just be a sponge. I think that's why I really got a lot this time. I hate when you hear like, shut up and listen, but I really did. Like I really was humbled by life and was like, these people have a lot of knowledge. Let me listen. And I'd try anything. I was so willing. I'd try yoga, prayer, gym. It changed my life. So just enjoy it and be patient because honestly, like, yeah, I mean, gosh, that feels like decades ago now, and it's only been
Right?
6 years. So that's crazy. Yeah, lots gonna change really quickly.
Yeah, that is good though. Be a sponge. That's
Yeah.
good advice.
For newcomers, the main thing is stay enthusiastic. Stay enthusiastic. Be enthusiastic about your recovery. The fact that you get to live a second life in one lifetime is amazing. The fact that we have examples like John and Krista of life gets better, life gets good. It just takes a minute, and we have to learn about ourselves. And that's my I'm gonna be my final question for you, John. We got a few other things to talk about afterward, but here's my last question: is what is the biggest thing you've learned about yourself since since finding recovery?
Most of my problems of my own making, probably. Life's not that bad. Like there's some big things you go through, but like as long as I stay out of the way of things, it goes pretty smoothly otherwise. So just work on myself, worry about myself, and everything comes together.
That's a good one, Krista. What's the biggest thing you've learned about yourself since in being in recovery? And let me know your answers in the comments. What's the answer? What have you learned the most about yourself since you've found recovery?
That I'm not an angry, violent person. I was so angry and so violent when my drinking days. And right now I'm doing my steps again, and they talk about guilt, confusion, and that plays a huge role. Like there was a lot of things that I thought was my responsibility and my fault, and it actually wasn't. But yeah, alcohol made me very angry and very violent, and it really wasn't even that as a kid I was that way too. So the things I worked through and my step work and stuff really brought out who I am and what I'm meant to do and my purpose. And yeah, I'm actually a nice girl, just despite my record. But
That's amazing, and I really like that question because you learn so much, especially going through the steps. You learn so much about yourself. You learn so much about the world. When you write your list of resentments down and you look at the base, it's a lot of people with trauma and there's bad stuff that have happened, but a lot of my resentments were so petty and they so insignificant. And when looking back at the resentments I had on my initial fourth step, it's just like, what was I thinking? But it really puts things into perspective that a lot of the little problems we have today are not that big of a deal. It's don't sweat the small stuff. It's wear life like a loose garment, all that jazz, all the cliches that we hear, so John, man, this is awesome, man. Tell us a little bit more about your social media and where. Look at we've got Megan in the background. She's already posting where people can find you. Tell us about your social medias. What people get when they are there.
Absolutely. So Recovery Jon is all over TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Um, Really, it's a mix. I try to do educational, my true story parts, some comedy. I used to do a lot of comedy, not so much anymore, like dark humor, sobriety. Maybe I'll bring that back. And then just like motivating, like little like B-roll type things, showing like I showed myself just putting my first bed together in my own place the other day. So people can find hope. I also have the Addicts Truth Podcast on TikTok and YouTube. That's cool because it's not my story. So I get to, only so many people can relate to me and I can only talk so much. So it's been really neat hearing other stories and like learning from other people, different ways people get sober, different ways people use and trauma they go through and how they get over it. And then yeah, that's the basis of it. And then I have like the book that is like in all my links on Amazon, and that's my story from childhood to this, and it goes through each chapter as one of the steps and what I learned from that lesson of my life.
I love
So
that. I love your lives. I
thank
swing
you.
by every once in a while. I like how you
Appreciate it.
because you get all types of people that come in there. People that are just sober curious, or they have a couple of days, or they're in long-term recovery. And I like how you handle all aspects of people, because
Yeah,
he's nice about it.
I do
When
my
a lot of
best.
people aren't nice about it, you got to,
Yeah. You
yeah.
gotta
Yeah,
have thick, thick
you go in
skin.
there all by yourself. You go in there, it's just you answering questions.
Yeah,
That is, when Krista and I do it, we got, boxes and there's 9 people and we're just calling on people. Boom, 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 boom. So it's not near as, I think the word is just, it's crazy. You got to deal with lots of personalities all the
Yeah,
time.
he gets large numbers up in there too. Like there's a good amount of people watching. But I know that if it helps at least one person, like you're doing
absolutely.
it,
Yeah. Yeah, it's not. I really like because it's like I could sit there and talk all day in videos, but maybe that video is not what someone needs to hear. So that's what I like about the lives. Right away they're gonna say, "How do I get sober off opiates? How do I find a detox? How do I deal with SI?" You know what I mean? So I could get answers right there, and if I don't have them, I could connect them with a resource. I have resources all over, so yeah, I'm grateful.
This has been amazing, dude. Tell us a little bit about your book. What's the name of your book? You have it? Do you have it right there?
Yes, I do. This is Life on Life's Terms. I never read a book until I wrote this, and then it went
You
#1.
never
So
read a book until I wrote a book. That's
not
yeah,
even in jail.
no, never. Just AA. I went through the first 164 pages of Alcoholics Anonymous. Um, but then right before I wrote this, I studied a couple self-help books. But when I decided to write, I'd never read a full book. But it's my story. I dedicated to my brother. I wrote it when he passed away. He was really proud of like the people I was just starting to help back when it was just Get Lifted and coming off. So it was kind of my Get Lifted and Recovery Jon for my friends that passed. Everyone was saying write a book, so figured out how to do that and did that for him. It's cool. Do to Amazon, it's helped people all over the world, different countries. And the cool thing is when I was writing it, my big thing with the editor was to have it not just recovery based. So obviously it's my whole story's recovery, but it was the whole get lifted mentality of the spiritual bank account and how, my aunt that just lost her husband, how can she get through this, with this type of like self-help and personal development work, and healing. And that's a messages I get the most will be from like I've got nurses that are like, I'm the farthest thing from an addict, but reading your book helps me deal with addicts. Or someone with depression or overeating, how they kind of use that to do that. And some people, I don't know if I really believe it. I think it was more God, but they're like, "Oh, I got sober reading your book," and I'm like, "Oh, that's crazy," because I wasn't getting
I
sober from
believe
reading the
it.
book.
I
But
believe it.
yeah, but it's pretty cool. So it's a cool process.
Well, dude, this has been phenomenal, and I'm so happy we were able to do this. We were trying to do this a month or two ago, and our schedules didn't
He's a
align.
busy
Uh,
guy.
Busy
I'm
guy.
terrible. Yeah, sorry. I need an assistant. I need one day.
One day.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for being here with us today. Thank you everybody for tuning in. This has just been great, and so great to get to know you more. And everybody make sure they go follow Recovery Jon and go check out his book. It's on Amazon and it's available anytime. Brother man, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we'll see you guys next week.
Appreciate you guys.